Morning here on Good Morning Football. The 2019 free agency situation has already been a bit of a whirlwind of activity. Blockbuster trades, surprise signings, and with so many teams and so much going on, players and fan bases are feeling optimistic, right, going into this league year as we enter the second day of it. So we thought we could make picks for who we think is really winning 2019 free agency so far.
I'll go with the Oakland Raiders. It started off this offseason, and everybody was asking, what are they going to do? They got these picks. There's players out there. How are you going to make some moves? And all of a sudden, they land some big dogs. They get Antonio Brown. All of a sudden, this wide receiver core that was struggling to make plays with Derek Carr, they got one of the best in the business. And not just one of the best in the business, one of the best of all times. And they don't stop there. They had one of my guys who I feel like was the best free agent wide receiver in the game, and that's Tyrell Williams, Los Angeles Chargers wide receiver. I keep talking about him. He put up 1,000 yards when Keenan Allen went down. He's a big-time playmaker, 6'4", over 200 pounds. He can go up and get the ball. So I'm trying to figure out a name for this duo, or maybe a couple of rappers from the Bay Area. So I'm looking at Antonio Brown. At this point, he's a little bit older. He established his own style. He's flashy, spends a lot of money. He may even have a gold toilet at home. So MC Hammer, AB Hammer. AB don't hurt him. That's what he does every time he touches the field. And the thing about these DBs when they're facing him, they got to pray just to make it today because he lights them up. And then
he's the playmaker.
He's the playmaker. He's the playmaker. Oh, that was good. And then Tyrell Williams. Trying to think of a young Bay Area rapper. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that just bursted on the scene. Yeah. It got a little bit of a following and is doing his thing. And G-Eazy. Okay. G-Eazy's a rapper, you know, white dude with bars. He got flow, he got style. And my guy, Tyrell Williams, is T-Eazy because he's so effortless with the way he runs that he makes it look easy. And on top of that, one of his hit songs is No Limit. And I keep telling Tyrell every time I see him, there's no limit to what you can do. You play behind some really good wide receivers in Los Angeles. Now it's your time to shine. I see you, Tyrell. I see you, AB.
My man. Addams Family reference. Where was that?
Right to it.
I love that stuff. We're so excited about the Browns this week, and we're always so fast to just move on. I think it's really important to remember how bad things were and the real muck that they have to be dragged through. So much so that back in 2017, we took a vow as a show that we would not make Browns jokes. We just wouldn't do them because they were too easy. In that 2017 season, they really found themselves in their Great Depression, which back years before that. And then one day they went and got their FDR. And on December 7th, 2017, they announced the hiring of John Dorsey, who comes in. The Browns at that point are 0-12, all right? It's Deshaun Kaiser. It's nothing. It is absolute floundering mess. They finish the absolutely imperfect season. They go 0-16, all right? Then LeBron leaves the city, which is a really big deal. It's like the stock market leaving New York and taking the Met and the Garden. Everything's just gone. LeBron leaves the city. Then you hear, okay, John, now you're going to be on a reality show on HBO. It gets higher and higher and higher. And all he has done since then is make bold decisions with his spine and his brain and saying, I'm here to win. I'm taking the paddles to the bleeping Cleveland Browns. I got to take the gloves off. I got to do what I got to do. This man right here, the man in the Monarchs, guys, he goes to the draft with the #1 pick and takes Baker Mayfield, a big-time potential bust who is short and cocky and not a team player, blah, blah. And then at number 4, takes a corner in Denzel Ward. Did it his way, guys. And since then, what's happened? It's worked. He brings in Jarvis. He goes and gets Odell. It's unbelievable what he has done, how brave it's been, how fearless it's been, maybe even at times how heartless it's been, but it's working. And it comes back to this. Peter gets to sit with John Dorsey at the Combine, and it really comes back to a quote that is also loosely tied to FDR about waking up sleeping giants.
The Browns fan base is so fervent and is so vocal about our show and about what you guys did last year. Optimism is through the roof. How cool is this ride? Even though you missed the playoffs, how cool is it to see the Browns back in the national conversation and not being a punchline, being a team that everyone is talking about?
Well, you know, I find fascinating on the 100 years of football coming up in 2019. You know, people tend to forget that, you know, of those 11 original teams, 5 of them from Ohio. So that shows you the importance of football within northeastern Ohio. The fan base is like nothing I've ever experienced, and it's our goal to, as we keep saying, awake the sleeping giant.
Awake the sleeping giant.
Correct.
You got me fired up.
And Odell's there. And what are they working on? They're working on a new deal. And when you get it, just don't forget the tent cities and breadlines that you went through in the good times, because you earned them. Peter, you sat with them. What was it like?
You knew something was coming. And on his podium, he was like, no, we're not going to make a big deal, but like you knew something was coming. And then when you get Olivier Vernon, Sheldon Richardson, and now Odell Beckham, and they're not done like Demetrius Harris, they just kept on building. So I think he was hitting or something. Wake a sleeping giant has been their mantra.
I think it was great when Kay was on that he said that maybe he was talking in code. He gets Vernon and Odell, two giants, right? What do you listen to in the offseason, John? They might be giants.
Great band. That's good. I'm going to go back with what Nate said. I'm taking the Raiders also, but I'm going a different direction. I'm going with two men. I'm going with John Gruden and Mike Mayock as my winners because they've kind of reignited excitement around the Raiders. That's a very important piece when you are going to Las Vegas next year and you're in this weird lame duck season with Oakland. For Gruden and Mayock to make Raiders fans proud again and for the fan base to be excited again, that goes such a long way. And I also like the way they're handling their business. Forget the transactions and all the money they're spending. That's fine. They are welcoming and they are warm to guys who have been considered toxic elsewhere. Let's look at Antonio Brown. Yesterday has the press conference. Listen to these guys wax poetic on Antonio Brown, a guy who was considered a malcontent in Pittsburgh.
Well, I get excited because of where this man comes from. I think the 6th round was in a Division I. He did it the hard way. He's done everything in his power to be the best he can possibly be on and off the field. His body of work is not only impressive, it's fun to watch. And we're excited about this guy.
I've never seen a better connection between a player and a coach when these two got together. I mean, John had 400 clips of Antonio in the office. I walked in this morning. The two of them were sitting in there like little kids watching 400 cut-ups of Antonio, everything he did, everything. I mean, they were like little kids in a laboratory, and that's why we're so excited.
All right, that's warm. That's great.
Yeah.
Take that and let's contrast it to the Combine. The reporters asked the Steelers general manager, Kevin Colbert, about Antonio and Le'Veon living all their lives on Instagram and how things are going to play out. Listen to Kevin Colbert and the tone of his voice and how it differs from what we just heard.
It's a different world. Social media has changed things. Branding has changed things. So we have to do a better job of managing young players as they grow into mega stars, and that's something I think we're learning on the fly, but it's a little more relevant this year, obviously, because Le'Veon's situation and Antonio's situation. But the lesson is maybe we got to catch these guys when they're young. And again, Coach Tomlin's great at cultivating a young player into a young man and a great professional.
We love these guys. We want these guys. I can't wait to work with Antonio. He's amazing. He's incredible. He's the best at his craft. We've got to figure out social media and Instagram. I think Antonio Brown is going to the right place in the right environment and the right welcoming place. Maybe the Steelers, that franchise, just wasn't right for Antonio and Le'Veon.
That's crazy. It's all crazy, and I'm trying to picture these jerseys, and I'm looking at Beckham getting his name embroidered and stitched on that. And to me, free agency always changes the game, right? It changes the league and how it is going forward every year. This year in particular, though, has just been relentless and so exciting and devastating to certain fan bases. And I don't know that there was a better time to be an NFL fan than going into this year, because you still have the defending champs aren't making any moves. Tom Brady, it's crickets. It's crickets from Bill Belichick, so you still have to get through that, even though all of this is going on with the sole goal of taking them out. Does that happen this year? How long does it take to get there? And if we just look back at a year ago, we were talking about what was the biggest move? Kirk Cousins, right?
Yeah.
He signed a massive contract to the Vikings. We saw that. And then we were talking about like Bradford and Glennon to the Cardinals, Trey Burton to the Bears, Broncos signing Marquette King. Let me tell you, there was a lot going on, but there was not much going on if you compare it to this year. This year, the winners in free agency are NFL fans, and it's us here at this breakfast table.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just think about these names, guys, who've changed teams in the last 7 days. Think about since Super Bowl, how much has been flipped on its head. Antonio Brown, Odell, Le'Veon, Earl Thomas, Joe Flacco. I don't even have to go
That's
on,
the dream
but this
Case
free
Keenum.
agency period blows every other free agency period in recent memory out of the water.
It's true.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, Antonio, Le'Veon, and Odell might be the three biggest personalities in the league, and they've all changed teams. And
Right.
it's pretty crazy.
Number one sport in the country, NFL. Number two, NFL offseason. And it's best basketball and highlight and all that other garbage.
Landon Collins.
It-
Earl
Keep
Thomas,
going.
It adds-
Tyrann
Bueno.
Mathieu.
Where's
Tyrann
Justin Houston going? Eric